As climate change and human-induced land and marine change persist, the diversity of life on Earth faces a major extinction crisis, with over 1 million species predicted to disappear if we do nothing. But across the world, conservationists and communities are acting to stop this loss of life. However, for them to be successful, we need to ensure long-term financing is available to protect and sustain the areas that are critical for biodiversity and the people who live in and around our wild places.
In order to protect at least 30% of the planet by 2030, adequate financial resources are needed. Recently, the Global Biodiversity Outlook that has been launched by the Secretariat of the CBD revealed that the achieved biodiversity targets were not achieved. And the main contributing factor to this was inadequate financing. The post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework must therefore be adequately resourced to avoid the mistakes of the last 10 years. Uganda therefore calls for mobilization of financial resources from all sources.
There are very wild areas which are very important for ecosystems services, but most of those areas are compromised because in most cases you find in developing countries, they do not have the capacity to properly manage the protected areas. So financing will be a major input in terms of trying to make sure that the wild areas are properly managed.
Les saludo desde el Cahuéscar West para manifestar la necesidad de aumentar los esfuerzos y los recursos y las iniciativas para tratar de proteger el planeta y los territorios indígenas que van a ser el sostén de las generaciones venideras.
Long-term financing is the bedrock of the success that we've achieved with Frankfurt Zoological Society in the North Luangwa ecosystem. And with that funding, we've been able to bring poaching levels for elephants down to zero. This kind of commitment has enabled us to invest in long-term plans, in new technologies and new approaches to effectiveness and community initiatives that has really benefited not only the park but the people around it and conservation more broadly.
This park is critical for safeguarding Indonesia's biodiversity, including the critically endangered Sumatran tigers, rhino, elephant and orangutans. However, financial support for the park management is disproportionately small compared to the multitude benefits it provides. So, if park management to be effective and these benefits sustained, then improved funding and planning are urgently needed.
In collaboration with the Rwandan government over the last 10 years, Akagera has seen a revival. This has been made possible by the donor support through African parks and the Rwandan government. Some of the key milestones are the reintroduction of the black rhinos and lions, making Akagera a Big Five reserve, and also attracting tourism and seeing a growth of 170% in the last 10 years. This growth made Akagera 80% self-financing. This has also encouraged employment, and we've become the biggest employer in the region.
West Papua is one of Indonesia's greenest provinces. The local government and communities are committed to protect intact forests and ocean by adopting the Conservation Province Agenda. The new development paradigm requires significant biodiversity finance that will allow the province achieve conservation goals while building local economy.
The Kubango-Okavango River Basin is a unique global treasure. It is one of the largest remaining near-pristine river basins on Earth.
It is home to some of Africa's largest wildlife population, and over 1 million people directly rely on it for their daily survival. The Kubango-Okavango River Basin Fund, known as the COP Fund, is a new fund designed to support the conservation of nature, culture, and livelihoods throughout the river basin. Our goal is to finance the sustainable development of the basin's water resources, to protect its biodiversity, to foster greater climate resilience, and support communities in developing businesses that are in harmony with nature. Without funding that supports communities to develop in ways that also protect biodiversity, This vital resource will be lost to other more water-consumptive and land-degrading activities, including overutilization. For every dollar invested by the COP Fund on resilient development interventions, $10 of benefits are generated for the basin. The fund is also predicted to deliver a return on investment as high as 83% in some cases. In the COP, by investing in nature, we are also investing in our rural economies and reducing our negative impact on biodiversity.
México es un país privilegiado por su geografía. En nuestras costas confluyen 5 provincias marinas. La diversidad biológica y la riqueza pesquera de estas es asombrosa. México cuenta también con un robusto sistema de áreas marinas protegidas. La conservación de estas depende de innovadores mecanismos de finanzas para la conservación, entre los que destacan las dotaciones patrimoniales. Esta es una manera de asegurar su permanencia como un presente para las futuras generaciones.
With donor funding, we have been able to secure Kenya's ivory stockpile. That means less ivory getting into the illegal trade. With more donor funding, I'm confident that we can be able to secure Africa's magnificent elephants.
The world has been showing us the crucial importance of preservation of nature, of preservation of biodiversity. The life of the planet, economic prosperity and well-being, the life of our children depend heavily on it. That requires significant financial investment of nations, governments, and people. We need to make the biggest financial effort where our priorities are.